Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Danielle and I am pretty new here on the booktube scene. This is my first video. But I really love to read. I love books. I love talking about books, and I felt like I could do some interesting reviews and videos and add to the booktube community. I love being part of this community down in the discussions of other booktubers, and so I'm excited to kind of start my own channel and spread my own thoughts and discuss more with people and with you guys about what you think about books. So today I'm going to be doing my February TBR so I can let you guys know what I'm going to be reading this month as I work on building up my channel, making some interesting videos, and reading. So the first book I'm reading is actually a buddy read that I'm doing. I am one of Merphy Napier's Patreons. I will link her channel down below in case you guys are interested in checking her out. She's fantastic. And this month we are reading together The Bear and the Nightingale by Katherine Arden. This book is a Russian-inspired fantasy story. It's heavily based on Russian folklore, and it follows Vasya and her family who live in kind of a remote village in Russia, and she ends up with a new stepmother, and her stepmother brings in a lot of this new religion that is kind of coming to Moscow and coming to Russia. About the clash between that religion and the old folklore ways and the people of this village and which religion they practice, and Vasya, who has a connection to this old religion and these old ways, and she doesn't want to see it die out, and it's about her family and their struggle during this time. It's very good so far. I'm listening to it on audiobook. The names are a little confusing. I'm getting them mixed up a little bit, but I'll leave more of that for my thoughts on my review that I do later. The next book that I am picking up this month is Awakens by Elise Kova. This is an indie book. It's a self-published book that has gained quite a bit of traction. It's probably one of the better known self-published books. I really love to read self-published books by indie authors. I think they are fantastic and I love to show them support. I've heard a lot about this book. I actually requested it at my library and they agreed to purchase it, so I'm reading it from the library. And this is touted as a Throne of Glass meets Avatar: The Last Airbender. I really enjoy the Throne of Glass series, even though I haven't quite finished it yet, and Avatar: The Last Airbender is arguably one of my favorite TV shows. So I'm really interested in this book. It has a lot of elemental magic. It follows Vala, who is a young librarian apprentice, but she finds out that she might be more than that. She is a sorcerer and she has magic, but magic in this society is kind of frowned upon. It's looked down upon, and you don't really want to be a sorcerer. It's kind of a taboo issue. There's a lot of tension between people who have magic and people who don't. And this follows Vala and her struggle with, does she want to be a sorcerer or does she want to just stay a library apprentice? I've started this one as well. I'm enjoying it so far, and I'm excited to see where it goes. The next book that I'm reading is also a buddy read. I am reading it with a friend that I just know in real life, and that is Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. This is the first book in the Grisha trilogy. I have actually read Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. I know I read the Grisha series all out of order, but it's probably my favorite duology out there, and I really want to read King of Scars, but obviously I have to read this trilogy first. So we are reading Shadow and Bone together this month. This follows Alina, yes, and she is a Grisha, and I know that there is a love triangle with her and Mal and the Darkling, and that there's a war in Ravka. And that's kind of all I know about this book. I know kind of about the premise of it from Six of Crows, but other than that, I don't know a ton about this book. But I'm very excited to read it. I love Leigh Bardugo's writing, I love this world, and I'm really looking forward to diving back into it with this book. The next book on my list is my classic for the month. I like to try and read at least one classic every month, and this month I am reading The Adventures of Robin Hood by Roger Lancelyn Green. This obviously follows the classic tale of Robin Hood. It's one of a couple different classics that follow Robin Hood. I, growing up, read a lot of like Rowan Hood books, which were about like Robin Hood's daughter, and I've seen movies and things depicting Robin Hood. I really like this story, and I wanted to read some of the more classic source material. This is also my Unread Shelf Project book of the month. Each month for the Unread Shelf Project, they have challenges to get you to read more of your unread books on your shelves, and if you don't read it, you have to give away the book, or get rid of the book, unhaul it. And this month the challenge is to pick a book that was gifted to you. This book was given to me by my brother-in-law for Christmas this year. It's the beautiful Puffin Classics edition, and I really don't want to give it up, so I'm planning on reading this book this month. The next book on my list is The Gilded Wolves by Roshani Chokshi. This book came to me in an owl crate this month, or this past month in January. One of my goals this year is to read more of the books that I get in book boxes as I get them. This also helps me with reading some new releases this year, even though I have a large backlog of books that I want to read. I also do kind of want to keep up on the new releases. This is set in Paris in 1889, and it follows a group of individuals who need to steal some magical artifacts, and kind of the consequences that come along the way with this. I'm very excited to read this book. I've been slightly obsessed with Paris lately and really want to read more books set in Paris, and I love a good heist novel, and this is kind of being sold as that, so I really hope that it delivers and that I just love it. The last book that I'm going to read this month, or planning on reading this month, is Elantris by Brandon Sanderson. I'm also listening to this one on audiobook, and it's actually a carryover from last month. I didn't finish it last month. And this is Brandon Sanderson's debut novel, and it is an adult fantasy that follows three perspectives in this world that there used to be these Elantrians. They were considered gods, but then they kind of fell from grace, and this disease swept over them, and now anyone who was an Elantrian or becomes an Elantrian is actually more like a zombie. Anytime they have any sort of pain, they feel that pain forever. They don't have to eat to survive, and they always feel this intense hunger. And so this follows the crown prince of the land who contracts this disease and is all of a sudden cast out by his family, by his people, and he's sent to the city of Elantris, where all the Elantrians are kept. And then it also follows Serene, a princess who is on her way from another country to marry Raoden, who effectively is married to Raoden as soon as he dies. And then it follows a Giorn, or holy man, who is trying to convert the country to his religion, and if they do not comply, then they will all be converted forcibly, and the country will be taken over by his own country. There's a lot of political intrigue, especially with Serene and her learning court politics and learning to manipulate the court. So I'm very excited to see how this one goes. I have read another book by Brandon Sanderson, and I really enjoyed it. I think his magic systems are really creative, and his politics and religion are super interesting. So I'm very excited to read that book. I am reading a lot of books with similarities this month. We have The Bear and the Nightingale and Shadow and Bone, both Russian-inspired fantasies. We have Elantris and The Bear and the Nightingale, both heavily influenced by the politics of religion. These ones not so much, but this one's got elemental magic. This one kind of has elemental magic. You could make that argument. These ones are both just pretty, so, but still fantasy. Lots of fantasy this month. Hopefully I don't get things confused. I probably will be. That's all I got. Let me know what you guys are reading down in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe if you like what you see and you want to see more. I hope to be able to chat with you guys a little more and discuss some of the books that I'm reading, that you guys are reading. Let me know if you have any suggestions down in the comments, because I would love to take those into consideration as well. It was nice talking with you, talking at you, talking to you. Happy reading. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon.